we have so many others. So we'll just leave it at that. But I want to get to this Telestrator software now because this is awesome. And I've been playing with this for a little while, and it's great because I have the ability now to draw on the screen and see what's on the screen. And it's a company that is called Panamation. And the software itself is not that expensive, where you can create your drawings. You can actually do more than that. You can actually build together different features. Like for instance, okay, let's say you've pre-recorded some content and you wanted to have a little telestrator to it. So I could be talking like this, and then all of a sudden a little box draws. Let's say I'm talking about somebody's enterprise IT infrastructure. And then I say, well, it all starts with a server. And then all of a sudden a box draws up here that has a little server, or a picture of a server for that matter. And then lines drawing to that go to the different boxes that go to the computers, and then it draws all up on the screen. And I don't even have a pen in my hand. I'm just doing this. So you can actually record stuff on here and then telestrate it later, and then break it down, and then bring it into your video as a pre-recorded video. So that's an option there. But you can use it as a telestrator. The whole John Mann, well, you get this person right here, and he's going this way, and that guy's going that way, and we're all going all these ways, and there's a plane behind me. Ho! So that's the type of telestrator that I want to talk about, because this is if you're doing a lot of live stuff, even pre-recorded stuff, this can help you in many different ways. So let's talk about how we can integrate it into Wirecast. It's actually not that difficult. There's two ways you can do it, and I'll show you one of the two ways. So first of all, this is the Panamation software. The website's called NDI. So just do Panamation Telestrator and it'll call up there. So you can do a lot with this software. There's two versions of the software, Global Caster Panamation. And as you can see, you can do graphics on this. So I could actually do my lower thirds from this thing too. You have the Panamation software, and then you have Panamation Pro. And for $295, that's not a bad price. Whereas I know the NDI Telestrator from NewTek is $495. So, and that's just the software. It's not the computer. The computer, by the way, the computer I have here is an HP Elite X2. I got this 4 or 5 years ago. This is not a new computer by any means. I got this machine basically because of the fact, and I had a review up on Geekazine somewhere. I got this and I use this whenever I have presentations. So you have a presenter and you have a bunch of bloggers or something like that around a table. So they would use this as the PowerPoint presentation, because I could take off the keyboard and throw it away or whatever. And it has a Wacom pen. The Wacom pen I don't have the battery. It's like a AAA battery, so the pen's not working right now. But I have my Mix 2 pen, which is also a touch screen pen, and it works perfect. So I can use that, and that's what I've been using today for that. But anyway, this laptop is using a Core M5 processor in it, which is not the latest, and it wasn't the top of the line even back then. This is a mobile processor, the M5 processor. So, and it's on the Sandy Bridge chipset, so it can do a lot that the Core i5 could do at the time. So it has a lot of the functionality. And as you can see, I've got NDI hooked up to it. You're seeing my PTZ camera, which is this camera right here, go to this screen and use it as a screen. I have this set up as the Telestrator right now. But if we do close it, let's close it out. And then we go into the Panamation software. You have there's 3 pieces of software that you get: the 1080 window, the 768 window, and then Panamation Monitor 2. That's what you use, is the Panamation Monitor 2. And then I haven't put my license information in here yet. Just got it. and it comes up like this. This is a recording window area. So you can actually use this to record your video. So like right now, if I wanted to record, let's just say I'm doing a how-to video on this, I can use this as that, and I got a recording timeline, which then I can change and I can alter and I can adjust and all that other good stuff. So I'm going to use a Telestrator. So I'm going to choose the Telestrator option right there, and now I'm in Telestrator mode. The cool thing about Telestrator mode, where was that? I now close that out. Let's see, need settings. There we go. We have this thing called Workspace Properties, and inside Workspace Properties, I wish I could zoom it in, but it's such a small window. But I can't resize it, unfortunately, on here. I have the ability to go NDI out, so I can send this to Wirecast or whatever live streaming software I use, or I can do NDI in. So where the yellow is what's active. It says NDI with alpha channel, because you need the alpha channel. That's what does the telestration. And then the format, and it's got multiple formats all the way up to 4K. I don't know if I can use 4K on this machine, but it's a Intel Graphics 530 graphics in here. But it does great in bring this out. So I've got this Telestrator, which works really, really well. So now I want to bring it into Wirecast. So then let me just show you really quick. So I've set up a couple things. It basically just basically a punch, so it creates a circle around the screen. Now, in all reality, you should technically be seeing a circle right about here, but now we have to set it up so you can see that. And this is how you do that. Let me bring this over. It says 8 NDI outputs and resolutions up to 4K, if you're interested in that. So anyway, here is my setup for Wirecast. Oh, first of all, Mike is going, hi, just joining. Thank you for the review. You bet, Mike. Thanks a lot for being on the show. All right, so there's two ways to do this. The one way, I would have to reset up my Wirecast. And as you know, my layer system goes like this. My top layer is always the penultimate overlay graphic. Like, for instance, the Geekazine bug that I'm now turning off and turning on. That is on the penultimate master layer 1, because it needs to be on top of everything. Master layer 2 is usually my graphics. This is the things like my lower thirds and stuff like this that you will see on here. And I also have, I do have here. I could actually put this here, but then I lose all of this stuff, which that shouldn't have popped up. But anyway, the whole point is that that's what that layer has always been. The third layer has always been my camera shots. So there's me up close, my screen, the PTZ, all the shots that I have up here. Fourth layer is always audio, because I've always separated audio from video. I hate cameras camera audio. I don't want it. If I have to have it, I use it. But if I don't, I run everything through one source. And these are all my audio sources. Then the fifth layer, this is always the throwaway layer. So I could utilize this by bringing the fifth master layer and bringing it up, turning it into the third master layer, which would then bring the third to the fourth and the fourth to the fifth, which means I'd have to do a whole bunch of work in my Stream Deck. So I might just do that if I use this Telestrator software more. But the other way to do it is to create a scene. And I'm not talking about going to a Walmart and starting to yell at the staff or something like that. I'm talking about, and let me turn off my auto live so this doesn't switch over. I'm talking about creating a scene with the master layer on there. So we have my PTZ camera, which is right there. Now I basically just copied that and brought that over. And then in here, I said, okay, add a layer. And now basically it's an NDI layer, and in that NDI layer, I said I want that PC, and on the machine, I have NDI Tools 4.5 installed, and I'm using the scan converter. I think is it the scan converter? I always forget. It's the yellow one, and then I set it to the screen. So now it sends out an NDI signal of of the screen. But this also, and I don't even need to do that now I'm thinking about it, because this has NDI inside the software. And so scratch that last part. Inside if you turn on the NDI in here, it will send it out. They'll send the video out to this machine. So now with this setup and everything's active, I just have to go to this scene. And now if I hit that circle stamp and hit here, it's now going to show up with a circle right here that's overlaid. So it's over my hand, as you can see, whereas this one is not. And then I clear it. And now I can do this writing, and I can go, I'm talking about this and bringing this over here and la, 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 la. And you've now got a telestration right on the screen. Let me switch back so you can see this in its full glory. And we'll just do it like this. There we go. I think I've got this set up right. Let's bring this back to where I need it to. Okay, so now this is on the PTZ screen. Don't watch this screen because this is not going to be perfect. And as you can see, it's doing the inception thing as we're talking. But it's a great way to start. So if you want to draw on it, you can see yourself as you're drawing. I set up another scene. There's no plane behind me now. This is my Telestrator scene. And I can't see it on here because I haven't... Have I? No, I did. Yeah, I haven't set it up yet. Actually, I have set it up, but I've turned on the NDI. And that's basically going into your output and output, NDI output, and start. Now, in here, let's go back here. We need to go out of the PTZ camera, and we need to, it should show up my Wirecast live output. It's small, so I'm not hitting the button. There we go. And now, if I switch to this, boom, hello, no plane, remember? Now I have it down here, and unfortunately, you can't see it unless I do this split screen again. But I'm seeing myself not in real time. It's actually a small delay, and I suppose if I had a better graphics processor in here, it would be more real time. So now I can talk about my enterprise computer system, and I can say, okay, so I have, let me do this, bring that up. So I have my computer, and it's got my camera that's pointed at me, blah, blah, and that's wired. And then I have a camera in the cloud on my network, basically, that's pointed at me, blah, blah. But then this is going to another computer that's handling another camera, and then it's sending NDI back to this computer. Now, both of these computers are going to my router. There we go. And then that's going to another machine, which is handling all of my graphics. And then that's coming back to this machine, like so. It's a little bit delayed. I apologize on that. Once again, I didn't refresh the, let's refresh the NDI on this case. So if this was plugged in as opposed to being wireless, it would do a lot better on the connection for sure. But I also needed to have the mouse plugged in. We did have some small problems at the beginning because I ran the resolution at 1080p on this laptop, but I had it at 125%. And that causes problems. Any type of software like that, it'll cause problems. It's not just a their Panamation software. It's not that. So, but now it's sending NDI source from my Wirecast to this machine, so I can see it on the screen. And let's see, you can see it right now. There it is before it switches over. So I can see myself on that machine, and then I can come back. The best part about the scene, though, as you just saw, I can keep all this scribble up and then switch to another scene, and then you don't see that scribble anymore. I could go to this one, you'll see the scribble, or this one and see the scribble. So I can talk about that and then clean the screen, but bring it back. You can also do it by having this on its own separate layer, master layer. But this would be easier to do if you need to switch between screens. So you could literally have somebody like I don't know, a weatherman or something like that, and maybe on a green screen with the weather behind him, and then he could be drawing. Okay, let's clear this out. Da, 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 da. There we go. And there we go. And he's going, yeah, watch out for those cold fronts. So they're coming this way and this way and this way and this way. And go from there. Oh, yeah, that's definitely slowing things down. I got way too much NDI coming through right now. So, yeah, I definitely would want to connect this up to the network via Ethernet cable to run a little bit smoother. But anyway, you get the idea. Is now you have the ability to do telestration. Plus, you could do things like replays and stuff like that. So this could capture some replay, and then you could telestrate that replay, send it out back through NDI, and go from there. So there's an option right there. And it's fairly straightforward to set up. Let's just clear that. Fairly straightforward to set up. Just a slight learning curve. Like I said, the screen resolution was the big problem with this right here. But if you got a good laptop, like a Surface Pro or something like that, it'll work perfect. I do have a ZBook over there, which I can definitely hook up to this thing. But I wanted to see if this worked because of the fact that it's just a screen. It can run in tablet mode. I can run it flat. I can plug in the mouse if I want to, but I don't need to anymore. And then just run it this way and see how that works. So now if I run this flat, then unless you're looking at this view right here, you can't see that I have a telestrator. And I could have the telestrator overlaid on here. So at any time, if I need to draw a circle or a square or something like that, I can just do that. Now, I know there's some of you out there that have been looking at this. That's basically a solution where they take a piece of glass and they put it out front, and you take the light markers. The glass has lights all around the edges, which light up that main scene. And then you have to have the proper lighting to do this. And you can't have any text on your shirt to do this, because what happens is it flips the image around, so it looks like you're drawing. So if you in the right direction. So if you write down hello, you actually see hello in that right way. This way, yeah, you do have to look at a screen for a couple seconds, but it's up there and you have it completely telestrated. And you don't have to buy a big piece of glass on wheels or something like that, because I did have a friend that his broke. It shattered in all its glory and beauty. It was a spectacular scene in San Francisco, because they were crossing the street with the telestrator, the glass pane, and it just went boom. It can crack super easy and it can break super easy. And yeah, it wasn't an official one. He actually made it himself. So it is what it is. But and I love this technology. I love this idea, but it's not for everybody. And this is a good alternative, because I can take this on the road with me.